Alright, today we are going to take a look at a pretty unique line of vintage Star Wars toys. This is a group of R2D2s that were released by the Takara toy company in Japan. These figures were released in Japan in 1978. That's when they first got the license to, I believe it was 1978 when they released their first Star Wars toys. So Takara did things a little bit differently. They released several toys that Kenner never released in the United States. So they're pretty unique. Some of them are pretty hard to find, and they're an incredibly fun series of toys to collect, especially if you're into vintage Star Wars toys that are a little less common and not seen as much as the American-based Kenner lines.
Right, this is a really cool line, man. Especially for R2D2 collectors, this is key. This is a really nice collection here.
Yeah, because none of these were ever released in the United States. The closest one that we got was the wind-up, was actually released in Canada.
Right.
Now, all the rest of these have functions that R2 did not do in the movie, or none of our R2s in the United States got. I mean, some of these have missile firing, things that R2
Oh, you didn't see
did.
the deleted scene from Star Wars A New Hope with R2 fires the missile into the Death Star? He was not... Darth Vader didn't take him out. It was actually R2 fired the missile.
And that's, to me, that's what makes this line so fun to collect, is the unique features that all of these R2s have. So we'll just kind of take a quick look at them and go over each one. We'll start with the largest, and that's the remote control R2. Now, was it Kenner that released the remote control in the US? So in the United States we had the remote control R2, but this one right here actually also has a disc firing mechanism. So it's remote control R2 that fires discs.
Now,
Super cool.
Yeah, these are the small plastic discs, as everyone remembers, in the late 70s, early 80s. Pretty much dollar stores you could get like these disc-firing guns. They were probably a little bit bigger than those, a little weightier, but it's that same premise.
Very cool.
This one over here is known as the Bump and Go R2. And I've actually never tried it out to see how the bump and go mechanism works, but it's just an awesome and unique piece. Then we go over here to this one, which is the R2 film viewer, and it actually has a little eyepiece that you can look through, and when you rotate the dome on R2's head, you can see different scenes from the movie in the hole when you view it.
Kind of like a Viewmaster.
Yeah, so very, very similar to the Viewmasters, but all internal in this R2. Then this one over here is part of the die-cast line that Takara released, and they only released 3 figures in that die-cast line. They did the R2, a C-3PO, and a Darth Vader. All of them are absolutely amazing. And one of the unique features of the die-cast R2 is the missile firing mechanism. Japanese toys love missile firing mechanisms, and they included that on this R2. Fires a missile right out of the middle of the front.
Makes it awesome.
I mean, just going to what we talked about during our last discussion around that same time, die-cast, talking about the Shogun Warriors in the U.S., Shigoken in Japan, was mostly like smaller die-cast, really high quality. They mostly all had a special action.
Yeah.
Mostly it's missile firing fists,
right?
Anything like that, and this falls right into that line.
It's cool.
And the last one here is the 3 3/4 size R2, which is known as the R2, the wind-up. Has a little wind-up mechanism, and then it walks just like the old-style wind-up walking toys.
Now, this was released in a box in Japan.
They get a
little tiny box in a bag. But then when it came to Canada, it was actually carded.
Yep.
Right.
And a very generic-looking card. It was done on a blister, on a card, but it only had a photo of the figure itself
And like
walking.
a walking mechanism. But that carded now fetches an unbelievable amount of money. It is an incredibly hard piece to find as a Canadian carded R2.
I read a story about George Lucas going over to Japan after Star Wars was released, and he saw that, and that was actually his favorite Star Wars toy ever, was the wind-up R2.
Yep.
And that's pretty much, isn't that how he licensed it to Takara? They made that kind of on their own, and then he licensed it to him after he saw that toy in a store, and he bought a bunch of them, brought them back to America, and gave them to all his staff at Lucasfilm as gifts.
Yep, I read that, and pretty awesome, and it is. It's incredibly different. It's so unique and just not like anything we saw here in the States with the vintage Star Wars toys.
I mean, besides the toys, the thing that stands out to me the most is Takara knocked it out of the park, like I always say, with the packaging.
Artwork is really nice.
I mean, it's just over the top.
Logo.
I mean, it shows the mechanisms that you do. The back of the box shows exactly what you're going to get, how the missiles fire, other toys in the line. I mean, it's just great graphics.
Of course, you can't read anything unless you can
Hey,
read
I could see
Japanese.
Lucasfilm Star Wars and R2D2. I can read that.
And that one's got a slightly different pattern for Star Wars. It's got like these
The
Z
lightning
things,
bolts.
the lightning bolts, and this is the regular
close-up
racetrack.
shots of that. And that one actually has some of my favorite art on it, and this one actually got a second release.
Yep.
In a different box.
Yeah, the second release of this in the other box, it has more of a window on it, and I'm not a fan of that one as much as this one. This is the original. The artwork on this one is amazing, and it shows R2 firing the missile.
It's cool.
Which is really cool.
I mean, if you want the other one to display R2 without taking him out of the box, it displays well because it's a window, but if you want that amazing artwork, that's the way you have to go.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So why don't we take a closer look at a few of these pieces?
All right.
So here we have the remote control Takara R2D2, or the Super Control. It has the pretty awesome box with some really great artwork on it. The R2 itself here, which is pretty similar in size to the Kenner R2. We have the controller here, which says Super Control written on there, and the antenna. One of the unique features of this, which makes it very different from the Kenner version, is the fact that you can load these discs into the top of R2's head here, and just like the photo on the box shows, it fires those discs, which is really, really cool. So with that, we have a bag full of discs. We have the full sticker sheet here, which is completely untouched and unstuck. We have the directions here, the original directions in Japanese, with some diagrams on how to put it together and how to operate the firing mechanism. And on the back side of that, we have a pretty cool old Takara catalog showing some of the other awesome things that they released. My favorite, of course, being the Stoom Trooper. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the Bump and Go R2. Another really cool one. This one actually has a half window box, so when it is boxed you can see it. Again, some really cool artwork on the box. And on the back it actually has the instructions on how this one works. And so this one takes 2 AA batteries, which go into this little compartment back here. And that door kind of just, it only stays on, it's designed to only stay on when it's closed. So the AA's go in there, and it has a little on-off switch right there. And this one you can see the head moves with the foot. And this one's designed to just be put down on the ground and drives around, bumps into things, turns, and goes the other way. Just like the name says, bump and go. We also have a unused sticker sheet here for the R2. And here's the movie viewer R2. This one's probably one of the most unique ones. Again, really cool box with some cool artwork. And this one has the instructions on the back. This one has 2 really cool and unique features. First one being the movie viewer function. So on the back, you open up this little door to let light in, and then you view through this front viewfinder, and then when you turn the dome, it shows different images from the movie inside, just like a viewfinder. Pretty cool. And then the other unique feature is this one also has a rocket firing mechanism. It has these two really small launchers with the little red buttons to launch them. And then here are the rockets. They're still attached and bagged. Those have never been opened, so I'm definitely going to keep them that way. But you would pop those in and then be able to fire 2 rockets from the back of this R2. This is probably my favorite R2, the die-cast missile firing R2. Again, the box artwork is phenomenal on this one, and has the instructions on the back again. Nice minty sticker sheet that's never been used, and this figure, like I said, is die-cast, so it's really nice quality, really heavy duty. And it has the rocket firing mechanism right there on the front. And again, I've got the rockets here completely still attached, so I'm going to keep those that way. But you would put these rockets into that hole, and then you would use this button on the back, this lever, to activate that, and that's what would fire them. Really cool piece. This is one of the 3 die-cast figures that Takara released in their series. They did this, the C-3PO and the Darth Vader. A really amazing set to have all together. And last but not least, the smallest of the Takara R2s, the wind-up one that we talked about earlier. Again, really cool and obviously very different looking than all the other R2s, since it has the walking mechanism on the bottom. Pretty neat. And this one, the wind-up feature still works. So you just kind of wind that up, and there he goes. A really cool one. These are still kind of easy to find online or different collectors. Yeah, it's just a really cool one to have, especially if you're into R2 variants. Alright, so there's a close-up look of all of these different Takara R2s. I love Takara stuff. This actually makes me want to do a video on some of the other Takara pieces that they released. So especially their die-cast or some of the vinyls. We might have to do that in the future. Let us know what you think of the video in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to this channel for future Star Wars toy and other toy videos and reviews.
Yes, send us some comments. Send us some comments on what toys you would like us to show or do a review on.
Cool.
Yeah, great.
Hit subscribe below.
Thanks for watching. I'm Anthony.
I'm Jordan.
Jedi Will.
See you next time.
See ya.
Peace.